navigating your journey with the wheel of life. Hello and welcome. Have you ever felt like you're excelling in one part of your life? Maybe your career is taking off, but other areas, like your health or relationships, are falling by the wayside? It's a common feeling, and today we're going to talk about a powerful tool that helps us see the full picture of our lives. It's called the Wheel of Life. I first encountered this tool back in 2016 during my training to become a certified John Maxwell team coach. It's a simple yet profound coaching tool that visually represents 8 key areas of your life. Think of it as a personal dashboard that gives you a quick snapshot of where you're thriving and where you might need to course correct. The beauty of the Wheel of Life is that it's completely customizable. While a common version uses areas like career, money, health, family and friends, significant other, /romance, personal growth, fun and recreation, and physical environment, you can change these areas to reflect what's most important to you. For example, instead of fun and recreation, you might choose travel because you measure your fulfillment by the number of stamps in your passport. This isn't about fitting into a mold. It's about creating a tool that is personal to you. The art of self-assessment. Questions to ask yourself. Before we can fill out our own wheels, we need to understand what each area truly means to us. A powerful self-assessment begins with asking the right questions, not just to get an answer, but to spark deep reflection. For each area, I prepared some questions to help you clarify its boundaries and determine your level of fulfillment. For career, what does my career mean to me beyond the paycheck? Is the work I do aligned with my values and with my natural gifts and talents? Money. What is the true purpose of money in my life? And what does enough look like for me? How much risk am I comfortable taking with my money? Health. What does health truly mean to me? Encompassing not just physical well-being, but also my mental, emotional, and spiritual state. What daily habits and routines contribute positively to my health? What habits detract from it? Family and friends. What qualities do I value most in these relationships? And am I dedicating enough time and energy to nurturing them? What role do I typically play in my family and friend relationships? For your significant other /romance, what kind of partnership structure do I desire? And what role does emotional intimacy play in my ideal relationships? What qualities do I value most in a significant other? Personal growth. Where do I most desire to grow? And what am I willing to do to overcome my current limiting beliefs? Who are my role models or mentors in personal growth? And what qualities do I admire in them? Fun and recreation. What activities genuinely bring me joy, and what prevents me from having more fun? How do I integrate fun and recreation into my daily life, beyond just dedicated leisure time? And lastly, physical environment. How does my immediate surroundings, my home, my workspace, support or hinder my daily life and overall well-being? What connection do I desire between my physical environment and my overall values or lifestyle? Putting your will to the test. My personal example. Once you've reflected on these questions, it's time to plot your results on the wheel. Using a scale from 0, represented from the center of the wheel, to 10, the outer edge of the wheel, you'll score your current level of fulfillment for each area. The result is a powerful visual that shows your life's balance at a glance. To show you how this works, let me share my own wheel of life when I made my assessment beginning of this year, 2025. My highest score is family and friends. My wife and I are profoundly happy to have witnessed our 3 children grow, finish their education, move up in their careers, send them to the altar for their chosen one, to build their own families, and having stability and happiness. We've graduated from the daily demands of parenthood and now get to enjoy a bigger, extended family. This area is a source of immense joy and a high point on my wheel. We have a circle of close friends whose company brings us joy, and their presence in our lives a treasure to keep. My biggest struggle is my career. Transitioning into retirement has been a struggle. After a long and fulfilling 44-year career, the feeling of an end to something I love doing has been difficult to accept and adjust to. This is a point on my wheel that needs focused attention for transformation. A tale of competing priorities. Money versus fun and recreation. This is a classic example of how life areas are interconnected and compete for attention. My wife and I had to make a choice between a European pilgrimage and a trip to the US to visit our daughter. The timing between the 2 trips was only 10 days in between, with the pilgrimage happening first. While the pilgrimage was more costly and demanding in scheduled activities, it's our initial desire, but we chose the US trip only. This trade-off was a conscious decision that prioritized our family time, showing how we balance competing priorities to find fun and recreation in a more relaxed way. It will be another time for the pilgrimage. My focus for the future is on personal growth. Since retiring, this area has taken a back seat. My goal for the rest of this year is to launch this very podcast. I believe that by focusing on personal growth and creating meaningful content, I'll not only stimulate my mind, but also make a positive impact on the areas of my life and the lives of others. The power of intentional living. As you can see, life isn't a collection of separate boxes. Everything is interconnected. The Wheel of Life helps you visualize this connection, allowing you to be intentional about where you focus your energy. It shows you where you are thriving and where you are struggling, giving you the clarity to identify competing priorities and create a plan for improvement. A corrective plan and course of action considering your short-term, near-term, and long-term goals that would lead you to a more balanced and joyful life. With 2025 already half spent, it's still a great time to assess your own wheel of life and establish a baseline. You might be surprised at what you discover and what areas need your attention. As I bring this episode to a close, take a moment to reflect on your own life. What are your 3 key takeaways from this discussion? And how will you apply them to create a more balanced life? Thanks for listening to today's episode of Influence by RCL. For our next episode, I'll dive deep into what I believe is the most important area in the wheel of life. Can you guess what it is? See you on my next episode.